Alrighty, well, I apologize about the noise, but it is 71 degrees. So I'm going to have my window down and enjoy this weather while I can. After I get done with this delivery tomorrow, my next pre-plan has me going up towards Chicago, which is cold. So I'm enjoying this 71 degree weather while I can. Now, I said last video, I said I was having some issues. And I would probably make a video about that, and that's what I'm doing now. I've decided, if I'm going to come on here and say you need to come to CFI to start your trucking career, then I also need to be honest with some issues that come up. Because there's always going to be issues. Every company has their issues. There is no perfect company to go to. You just have to do your research and figure out which company is going to best fit you. Now, like I said in my last video, the issues I'm having, or was having, were strictly just me. I talked to a lot of other drivers who came through the CDL program just shortly before me and right after me, and none of them are having any issues at all. Some of them are having some real small minor issues getting adjusted to things, but nothing major. And really, my issues really wasn't major. It's just a combination of stuff that just kind of boiled over. But it started when I got my truck. Is the first issue that I had. When you get assigned a truck, it is supposed to be clean and ready to go. They are supposed to get a load working you home for your home time and for you to get stuff that you need to get your truck set up. Well, they didn't have a truck for me in Joplin when I did my upgrades, so I had to go to West Memphis. Now, CFI rented a car for me to drive to West Memphis, and they also paid me to drive there. So, that they just didn't leave me hanging. They got me a ride down to pick up the truck and all that. So. Some companies would have just said, you're on your own, but not CFI. But anyway, the truck really wasn't clean. The drivers, it was a team truck. They had gotten out of it just a couple days before I got in it. So they didn't really have time to do anything to the truck. Now, it was not trashed. There wasn't garbage all over the place. When the drivers left, they took their stuff, and kind of cleaned it up. But there was still some old paperwork, box of condoms. I don't know why a team truck with guys needed condoms, but I probably don't want to know. And some food was still in the cabinets. So, and the mattress, it still had the same mattress in it from when they were here. So that kind of upset me a little bit, but hey, things happen. I had a truck. I was ready to roll. Before I left Joplin to go to West Memphis to get the truck, I was told that I'd at least be able to go home because I live just south of St. Louis in Missouri. So if you're familiar, West Memphis is actually in Arkansas, and it's just right off, the terminal is right off of 55. So all I would have to done is just go a couple hours, 4 or 5 hours, something like that, up 55, and I could have stopped by my house and got a coat. The only thing I had was a light jacket because it was warm weather when I was in CDL school, and it was warm weather when I was with my finisher. So I was told that I'd at least be able to get by there, stop by the house for a little while to do a break and get some stuff. When I got to West Memphis, I got the truck. I explained to the dispatcher what was going on. She said, no problem. I don't have anything going that way right now, but we'll see what I can scrounge up for you. No problem. And the next morning, I go in and I check, and I was told that they had a priority load that had to be done and needed me to do it, and then they would send me straight from that home for my home time. because I was already a couple days highlighted to go home. So that was pickup. I had to run down to Jackson, Mississippi to pick up a load that was going to Kansas City, Kansas. Cool. Kansas City, Kansas. I'll shoot down 70 to 55. I'll stop by the house, either do my home time for a couple days, or at least get some warmer clothes and some stuff that makes staying on the truck easier. Well, I went in before I left that evening to go get the load. I went and checked with dispatch to make sure nothing had changed with my load. The driver in front of me had just gotten a load going to Chicago, and it had 3 or 4 days to get there, so he had plenty of time to do it. So I was kind of pissed. I was supposed to be going that way to get stuff, which, okay, fine, new driver, first load, whatever. And then I went to Kansas City. Said, okay, well, I'll go down 70 and go home. No, not anywhere close. Long story short, I went from Kansas City, Kansas, to Cheyenne, Wyoming, down to Laredo, Texas, up to Eagle Pass, and then up to Albuquerque, and then they started getting me home. By the time it was all said and done, I was 4 days past my highlight date to be home. So, I was pretty upset about that. But hey, do what you got to do. Not everything is going to go the way you want to. It's not all roses and daisies in the trucking industry. So, some other little things that happened along the way. And then I got my permanent dispatcher. Once you get assigned a truck, they give you like a temporary fleet manager to kind of work you through your steps. And then once you get, I think it's about 30,000 miles, I believe it is, dispatched miles, then you go up to a permanent fleet manager. Well, I got my permanent fleet manager and it didn't go good. Didn't want to answer my questions, talked over me. I'd send him an email because I didn't want to talk to the guy because it was constantly being talked over and I felt like I was low when I talked to him. Did emails, I'd ask 2 or 3 questions, he'd only answer 1. So things weren't going good. My miles were down. I went from about almost 10,000 miles a month, which I go home every 4 weeks. I go home for 4 days, 3 to 4 days. So that kind of cuts into your miles, a month, a little bit. But y'all, I went from almost 9,500 miles down to about 5,200 miles a month. My paychecks were crap. I did a lot of early morning delivery, sitting and waiting until evening time to go get my load. And there towards the end, it seemed like my pickups were scheduled right where I could not do an 8-2 split, which means that all those hours sitting that day, 6-7 hours sitting, were wasted. So as you can imagine, I went through my 70 pretty quick with not many miles. So some other things happened that brought up some very concerned safety issues with me. So I requested a new fleet manager, and that happened. The new fleet manager I have now is awesome. She actually listens to you. She explains things to you if you have a question. My miles are up. They are way up. So, right now things are going good. Like I said, I'm not going to go into every single thing, the minor details of some stuff. There are some stuff that's pretty private. The safety issues, my understanding, has been taken care of with that fleet manager. So no one else has any issues with that. And you know, it could have been, he could have just been having a really bad day that time. But you know, one of them was I was heading to New Jersey when they had the first really big, huge snowfall, blizzard and all that. I was heading to that, so I had some issues. It wasn't dealt with how I felt necessary, so you know, it just let it go. If you start having issues with your fleet manager, contact him immediately. Try and work it out. If it doesn't work out, then go above them to their boss and request a new one. Don't wait as long as I did. As soon as I started having issues, I should have tried to resolve it, but I didn't. I just kept on moving. And it got to the point where I literally had interviews for other jobs lined up. And when I went home on home time, I was going to clean the truck out and take it to Joplin. But I talked to some other drivers. They advised me what to do. And I took their advice, and it's working out great. I am absolutely loving this job. I am fortunate enough unfortunate, however you want to look at it. No, I'm pretty fortunate. The kids are old, they're grown. My wife doesn't work, she has some disability issues, so she can't work. So she is currently riding with me full time. So we are having a blast out here, especially now, like today, 71 degrees. It is it's 15 minutes after 7 local time here. So, and it's still 71 degrees. It is beautiful here. Anyway, that's it. I'll probably make another short video after this talking about some other things, about doing videos on the road and stuff. So, once again, if you have any questions about CFI and about getting into trucking, you can always hit me up in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Another thing, which I'll talk about in my next video, watch out for, is my name change. I'm changing the name of the channel. Originally it was just called Festus Mo. It's going to at least go back to that. I'm going to get rid of the part of the trucking thing. There's so many truckers out there, and you know, so many YouTube channels, trucker this, trucker that. I am just going to go back to my original name, which is just Festus Mo 1. I might change the name altogether, but keep an eye out for that. But definitely, if you notice a change in names on your subscription list, from Trucker Festus Mo to just plain Festus Mo, that's what happened. I went back to my original name. Anyway, babbled on 13 minutes now. If you've watched it to this end, if you watched this far, I appreciate it. Once again, have any questions, hit me up. Y'all have fun. Take care.